A lot of people don't know that Dolly's grandfather was a strict Pentecostal preacher and she grew up singing in the church. But he did not approve of the way that she was dressing, bleaching her hair, and wearing makeup. He used to warn her that she was going to hell if she didn't change her ways. He called her a Jezebel, and he was sure that the devil was making her do it all. He even went so far as to whip her for it. But Dolly strongly rebelled against him, and one of Dolly's favorite sayings is, "To thine own self be true." And she knew, even at her young age, that she had to follow her dreams. So, what does this have to do with how Dolly feels about her hometown, Sevierville, Tennessee? Well, it gives us a small window into the world that Dolly grew up in.
My grandfather was a Pentecostal preacher, and so I grew up singing. My mother's people were very religious, and it was not allowed to wear makeup in the hair. And the most beautiful woman I had ever seen in my life we didn't go to town that much, but when I would go to see her because she had these long red fingernails, she wore bright lipstick, she had peroxide blonde hair, wore tight clothes, short, and I thought she was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen.
There was what they call the town trollop in our town, up in Sevierville. Well, I thought she was the prettiest thing I'd ever seen when I was a little girl, and every chance I had to go to town, I'd see her, and I would just say, "Oh, she's so pretty." And they'd say, "Oh, she's just trash." And I thought, that's what I'm going to be when I grow up. And I know sometimes I look like it, but hopefully I'm a little more than that.
But the only thing I regret about my childhood is the fact that Mom and Daddy had such a hard time, but they never did complain. And as long as I make a dime, then Mom and Daddy's got a nickel. If they need the dime, they can have that too. I think you mentioned I'm from a big family, 12 kids in the Smoky Mountains, and there's 8 kids younger than me, and so my daddy was real handy making toys, so he used to make a lot of homemade toys out of empty spools that where Mom would sew, and she used to make a lot of cob dolls and sock dolls, rag dolls, that sort of thing.
This is going to sound like a silly question. Did you know you were poor?
We didn't know it really until we were older. I mean, we didn't think about being poor till you started wanting a lot of things. Curious about growing up in the mountains. It is a good way of life, and I think it really makes you appreciate things as you get out into the world, and especially if you have good parents, which I did. A big part of the people, especially in the mountain areas where I was born and raised, that's a way of making a living. You got to feed your kids. Of course, most of the things you hear about moonshiners is just that, everybody's a drunkard and they just do it, just for the evil part of it. But there's very little money made in the country, and our main money was our tobacco crop. But a lot of people had more kids than that 1 year's tobacco crop would
So they were kind of forced into...
Yeah, of course, a lot of them did enjoy their work. Well, I remember every Christmas because I love Christmas in the Smoky Mountains. We didn't have any money. Because we always had each other, and we had a lot of stuff that money can't buy. I'll do this for my folks and for those back home. I'm dreaming of a Smoky Mountain Christmas. But you never did seem to complain or gripe about it.
Only thing I ever griped on you about when we was thinning the corn out, there'd be 3 stalks in the hill, and we'd pull the little stalk out, and I noticed you were pulling the big stalks out. I said, "Dolly, don't do that." She said, "I'm pulling the big stalks out and giving the little one a chance."
You used to make moonshine up here.
Some, little, not much.
Not much.
No, because I left him once with him.
Work done up. We'd work in the fields till the sun had gone down. This old spring, and it's some of the best water you could ever taste. In fact, when I got here today, the first thing I wanted to do was get a drink of water. I do work for a living. I'm very excited, by the way, about this particular park. For those of you that are not familiar, there's a park that we've started up in East Tennessee called Dollywood. And I got the name because I just thought that was cute, but I had the idea for the theme park several years ago because my people I'm very proud of, that part of the country is the Smoky Mountain National Park, which a lot of people don't realize is the most visited national park in the United States. Something like 9 or 10 million people every summer or every year come through there. So we've started an amusement park, and it's got rides, restaurants.
And we do that at the park. We bring all of my childhood memories, and I put all that in when we plan stuff for the park through the years, and so we've got a lot of my childhood there.
Now tell us about this Dollywood deal.
Well, Dollywood is a theme park that I've started in East Tennessee, up where I live.
As a little girl, when you were growing up, was it always a dream of yours to have your own theme park?
Well, it actually has been. To be honest, it has been a dream of mine for many, many years, because I was always fascinated with the county fair. When I was a kid, that was the big thing when we used to get to go to the fair.
Sure.
So I was always thrilled with that, and for many years, about the last 14, 15 years, I have tried to pull it all together where I could go back home to the Smoky Mountains where I was born and raised and take something back to my people. And that's a great part of the country, and the folks up there are great, and it's really providing a lot of good jobs for everybody, and it's hopefully a good business move too. My guitar and go sing, and people never knew when I was coming, so it made it kind of special to them. It was special to me to be able to drop in. So I'm very active. I didn't just put my name on something and then walk away. It's in the 5 miles from the Great Smoky Mountain National Park.
They're beautiful. The mountains are beautiful.
It's great, and it's the most visited national park.
Let me show you Dolly in high school.
Ah, are you serious?
Yeah, look at this.
Oh, that's our
Senior prom?
I sold most donuts that year. That's my senior class.
Yeah.
People recognizing you or bothering you?
Well, I usually, when I get a chance to come home, which I was up there yesterday, as a matter of fact, I just left Sevierville yesterday. I don't usually go shopping up there that much. When I go home, I usually go to visit Mom and Daddy and my brothers and sisters and just friends in the area. But people up there know me. I know that they know me, and I've even built a little park so they'll be sure to know me. So I don't mind. I love the people up there. And it's nice to talk to somebody from home.
Yes. In the Gatlinburg area, about 25 miles from Knoxville.
Come to Sevier County.
You could probably fall in love in this park.
You could fall in love up.
Now, the night I graduated from Sevier County High School back in 1964, we were all asked to stand up and talk about what we were going to do with the rest of our lives, and everybody had a different story. And when it came my time, I stood right up there and said, I'm going to Nashville, and I'm going to be a star. Well, the whole place laughed out loud. And I was so embarrassed, because I thought, well, how odd. Why is everybody laughing? Because that's what I'm going to do. But as bad as I felt at that moment and as embarrassed as I was, it did not shake me from my dream. So I guess I showed them, huh?
After winning a greasy pole climbing contest.
Well, I was 10 years old, and I was singing on a local radio and television show. And I was a little tomboy, because I grew up with all them brothers. You know, there's 12 of us kids, and we were all just wild little mountain kids. So anyway, I knew how to climb a tree, and this show that I was singing on down in Sevierville, and they had a greasy pole at this theater where we were singing, and at the top of the pole, they had it stripped down, and if you climbed it, and there's $100 or a few $100, whatever it was, I don't remember now, at the top of a pole, and nobody could climb it. So I was on a little break, and I got out and kind of rolled around in the dirt, little gravel, got a little bit of dirt on me, and I climbed up that pole, and I got that money, and they were mad because I was an entertainer that was rigged somehow. And the guy that ran the show said, how in the hell can you rig a greasy pole?
Yeah, no, yeah.
And so he said, she's getting the money. So I was singing on radio and TV, and we didn't even have a TV, so I paid down on the TV. We got a TV in our house, and nobody in our area had a TV, and my daddy worked hard. So all these neighbors would come to our house to watch Wagon Train and Woody Woodpecker and all those shows back then. And my daddy said, we got to get rid of this damn television. The Pines Theater used to be a real theater, and when I started working with the Kaz Walker Show, I was about 10 years old. The Kaz Walker Show was out of Knoxville, so they would go around different places to perform. So on Saturday nights, they had a show, and I used to get to come up there and perform.
I didn't know there was a statue.
Oh, that's one of the things I'm the proudest of. That's in the courthouse yard. There is a statue, a bronze statue that the county, that Sevier County, the school kids and the people made up the money and put up. So that makes it twice as special. These little kids were saving their pennies. And so I'm as proud of that thing as anything. Dollywood and the statue is kind of like a tribute to my home, to my family. And Dollywood has just meant so much to me and to the people of that area. And it's like, they say you can't go home again. Well, I say you can.
These are my mountains. This is why.